Hi everyone, great to see you all back here on Scrummy. I've had a few requests for bread and butter pudding. Bread and butter pudding is a classic dessert, really easy to make and really fast as well. It's a beautiful dessert too. I've actually made an alternative to the traditional bread and butter pudding. I just have it here and I'll show you later. For anyone who isn't a fan of bread and butter pudding, they might like to try one with a little bit of a twist on it. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the custard. It's very easy. In a jug I've got some full fat milk and into it I'm going to pour in double cream. Got some vanilla extract, pour that in, a little sugar and 4 medium-sized eggs. I'm going to give this a good whisk now. That's perfect now, just set this to one side and get yourself a big dish and make sure to grease it well. Now for the bread, I've prepared my bread already, so what I've done is I've buttered my white bread. I'm using white bread, it's Brennan's bread, and I've cut it into triangles and I've buttered it lightly on both sides. So I'm just going to pop this into my dish, layer it just like that. This bread isn't fresh, but you can use fresh bread. I leave the crusts on. Some people don't like the crusts, but I like them. I like the different textures in my bread and butter pudding. So that looks good enough now. So now for the fruit, I'm using currants. You can use sultanas, raisins, any dried fruit really. And into here I'm going to put in some lemon zest. Just mix it up. And now I'm going to add my dried fruit and my lemon zest, half of it to the dish on top of the bread. Now I'm going to do another layer on top. Bread and butter pudding was always made to use up old bread that had gone a little bit stale. It smells lovely. You can smell that lemon. Great. Now for the last of my dried fruit, just scatter that over. And any lemon that's left in there, any lemon zest that's left in there, get that in there too. Brilliant. That's ready now for my custard. Get your custard mix and pour it all over. That'll soak up lovely into the bread. Now to finish off, I like to just add a little bit of brown demerara to the top. Gives it a nice golden colour in the oven. And there you have it, my traditional bread and butter pudding. This is ready for the oven now, but before I put it in the oven, I'm going to place it in the fridge for about 20 minutes because I like the custard to soak into the bread. And then I'm going to place it in the oven for 45 minutes to bake until it's nice and golden in colour. But before I pop this in the fridge, I want to show you my twist on my traditional bread and butter pudding. This bread and butter pudding is exactly the same as my other one. The custard is exactly the same, but instead of using white bread, I use brioche bread. It's absolutely gorgeous in bread and butter pudding too. And the only other thing I've added to this is chocolate chips, dark chocolate chips and some currants too. Beautiful bread and butter pudding for anyone who wants to try something a little bit different. So I'm going to get this now into the fridge for 20 minutes and then I'm going to pop it straight into the oven afterwards for 45 minutes. So we'll see you shortly. Here are my two fabulous bread and butter puddings, the traditional version and my twist with brioche and chocolate chips. Let's start with a classic. Just look at that golden top. The texture is perfectly soft and custardy and the flavours are rich with a hint of vanilla and lemon. It's comfort food at its finest. Now on to the brioche and chocolate chip version. See how beautifully golden it is thanks to the brioche bread. And look at that melted chocolate inside, absolutely scrummy. Serve with a drizzle of cream, the brioche adds a buttery richness and the chocolate chips melt into gooey pockets of sweetness. It's a really nice twist on the classic bread and butter pudding. Both of these puddings serve something special, the traditional for its timeless charm and the brioche version for a luxurious treat. And there you have them, you've got my two bread and butter puddings. You're very lucky today, you're getting 2 recipes in one video. You can try out my traditional bread and butter pudding. It's a classic dessert, it's beautiful. Or if you fancy a little bit of chocolate and some brioche bread, why not go for the other one? I know which one I'll be having today, and I know which one my children will be picking. Okay everyone, I really hope you enjoyed the video. If you can, I'd love if you could share my video so lots more people can see them. Thanks again, happy baking everyone, and see you all soon. Bye bye.